Got this? Furthermore, exhaustible resources were also classified. Can you tell me about the classification of exhaustible resources? How the exhaustible resources have been classified? Yes.
So can you repeat the question?
Yeah, we have learned about the resources. We learned about the natural resources and the man-made resources, right? Then we learned that natural
Yes,
resources
sir.
would be exhaustible and inexhaustible, right now? Okay. So we learned about exhaustible and inexhaustible
Yes,
resources.
sir.
Furthermore, exhaustible resources were also known as non-renewable resources, right? And inexhaustible resources are known
Yes,
as
sir.
renewable resources of energy. So thereby we learned about that. Like for example, sunlight or air, these are inexhaustible resources. They are present in limited quantity in nature, and they are not likely to be exhausted by the human activities. By the human activities, it is not
Yes,
possible
sir.
that sunlight, air, or water it is going to get exhausted. But via human activities, resources like wildlife, like forest, like coal, petroleum, or natural gas, it can get exhausted. So thereby they are exhaustible or also called as non-renewable. Okay. Then we also learned about natural resources like coal and petroleum. Coal, petroleum, and natural gas, they were formed from the dead remains of living organisms. So they are called as fossil fuels. Right now, they are fuels, but they are called as fossil fuels because they were formed from the dead remains of plants and animals. Right. Then we were learning about coal in the previous classes, and there we learned that it is a dark colored rock that is being used as a fuel. It's a it is a hard stone, and it is black in color, and it is one of the fuel that we use for various purposes. Like it is in villages, it would be used for cooking purposes. In industries, it would be using for lighting up the furnace. Getting it now? Yeah, Aisha is here. Earlier, it was used in the railway engines to produce steam to run the engine. Right. Also, one of the important use of coal is in the thermal power plants to produce electricity, right? Okay, we learned about the formation of coal, where we learned that about 300 million years ago, the Earth had dense forest in low-lying wetlands called as swamps. Earth had dense forest in the swamps. So, due to some natural processes like flooding, or due to the natural life cycle, a plant would also die. So these forests, these plants, it got buried under the soil. As more soil, as more dirt deposited over them, they were compressed. Right now, so they were exposed to intense amount of pressure. Also, as they sank deeper and deeper, so the temperature also rose. Temperature also rised as they were exposed to temperature coming from inside of the earth. So under high pressure and high temperature, they slowly got converted into coal. So this process of conversion was being called as carbonization. The process of conversion of dead vegetation into coal was called as carbonization, which we learned that. Then we learned about the mining of the coal also. Generally, you'd be have surface mining right now, and you'd be having tunnel mining also. These are the two ways in which coal is mined. Okay. Also, as you know that coal mainly contains carbon now. Apart from carbon, it would contain some other things also: hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Okay. Furthermore, we learned about different types of coal based on the composition or based on the carbon content in them. What were the different types of coal based on their carbon content? You guys tell me. Is all of you turn your cameras on in the class? I feel like I'm only talking to the webcam, only talking to the camera in my class. I don't feel like students are sitting in the class. Yeah, now it's better. You two also turn your cameras on in the class. I had one question. What are the different types of coals based on the carbon content found in them?
So between
In the ascending order. Let us start from Ibrahim. Yes.
peat,
Okay.
then lignite,
Hmm.
and subbituminous and bituminous,
Good.
and
Okay. What about others? Vaiga, you tell me.
So peat, lignite, bituminous, anthracite.
Hmm. Okay, na? Aisha, now you. Yes, Aisha. What are the different types of coal based on the carbon content found in them? Which one of them is of the highest quality, guys? That is anthracite, no? It is of the highest quality. Okay. Also, to
Yes, sir.
tell me, will coal formation take place from the dead remains of animals, or does it only take place from the dead remains of plants, dead remains of vegetation only? The
So it's
formation
from plants and trees only.
from vegetation only, from plants and trees only.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we did learn about destructive distillation of coal, where we had different components obtained from destructive distillation of coal. Okay. So do tell me, what are the uses of coke? Aisha, you will tell us about the use of coke. Ibrahim, you will be telling us about the use of coal tar, and Vaiga, you will be explaining us about the use of coal gas. Okay. So let us start from whoever wishes can answer first. Whoever wants to answer can begin.
Semen production,
And
medicines.
medicines. Okay, you are explaining about the coal dharna, right,
Yeah.
Aisha? Yeah. First of all, define coal tar. Before defining before telling the uses, first of all, define coal tar. What do you understand by coal tar? What is it? How does it look like? Yes.
It looks like a thick black liquid.
Hmm. And has a very unpleasant smell.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a mixture of about how many substances? It's a mixture of different substances, about 200 different substances. Keep that in mind. Okay, it's a mixture of about 200 different substances.
Okay.
Okay, now continue. You were telling us about the uses. Yes. Yes, Aisha.
Yeah. Semen production and medicines.
Okay, it would be used in the production of a synthetic clothes, certain kind of synthetic dyes, particularly in medicines, then in
Heating.
manufacture of. Mhm.
Heating
Repeat again.
as carbon fibers.
Okay, that one too. Then in like explosives, manufacture of explosives, in
Yes.
manufacturing perfumes, right? In
Yes.
manufacture of roofing materials, manufacture of paints, like that. So these are some of the uses of coal tar. Earlier, it was used for metaling of the roads also. Okay. Then I did also told you guys about the naphthalene balls. So naphthalene balls are also made from coal tar, isn't it? So naphthalene balls would be particularly used to repel the insects. Right now, it would be used to repel the insects, keep away the insects. Okay. Now, Ibrahim, you tell us about the uses of coke.
yes, sir. Can you repeat that?
What are the uses of coke? First, define coke. What is coke and what are its uses? Where is it used?
I don't know where it is used, sir.
No. Okay. Why can you tell us about the uses of coke? And Aisha, you to tell us.
So for coke,
Mhm.
Okay, sir. Like coke is a black, uh, tough substance,
Okay,
and it is like an almost like a pure form of carbon.
very good.
It does not produce smoke like coal, and it burns easily.
Burns easily. Okay, is it porous?
Yes, sir.
It is porous. Okay, na? And how is it obtained? It is obtained during the processing of coal, that is during the destructive distillation of
District.
coal.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Where do we use this, Aisha? Where is
In
coke used?
in
Mm,
manufacturing of steel,
mhm.
it
Very
is
good.
used as fuel
Right. It is used as
and
fuel.
extraction of different metals.
Extraction of different metals. Very good. So these are some of the uses of coke. Good. Okay. Uh, Vaiga, you have to
Coal gas.
explain the
Coal
uses
gas.
of coal gas. Yes.
Yes, sir. So, like coal gas, it is obtained by the strong heating, like
Mm,
by the absence of air during the process in which the coal to get coke,
okay.
and it is used as like a fuel for industries, and it is used as illuminant.
Mm. Earlier it was used in the street lightings. Right now,
Yes,
earlier
sir.
it
In
was used.
that.
Right now, earlier it was used. Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So hope that was clear to everyone. Then we also learned like whenever coal would be burned, it will give rise to it will release some hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are compounds made up of nitrogen and oxygen. Am I right or wrong? Hydrocarbons are made up of nitrogen and oxygen. Am I saying correct or wrong?
No, sir.
It's wrong, no?
Yes, sir.
So it is made up of which two elements?
Hydrogen and carbon.
Hydrogen and carbon. Good. So that is the thing about it. Okay. So hope that much is clear. And we also learned this question: what will happen if the coal reserves are gets depleted? Okay, there's another important thing that you should know where the coal reserves are in India, like in which parts of India coal reserves are particularly found. Getting it, guys? Like particularly coal reserves would be found in Assam, in Bihar. It will be found in Odisha. It is found in Maharashtra. uh, it will be found in some parts of the Andhra Pradesh also. It is usually absent in the um, northwestern parts of India. Like coal deposits are not found in states like in Ladakh. It is not found in the Jammu Kashmir, not in the Himachal Pradesh, neither in the Rajasthan, neither in the Gujarat. Getting it, guys? What I'm trying to say. So coal reserves. One moment. Like say for example, I'm drawing a rough diagram of India. For example, try to understand. Uh, So coal reserves will not be found in this much part of India. No coal reserves will be found in abundant amount. Okay, na? It will be found if it is found in this part of India. It will be found in very small, insignificant amount. Mainly, it would be found in this much part of the India. Got this, everyone? What I'm trying to say?
Yes,
In
sir.
this much part of India, mainly coal reserves would be found. Okay. Also, you can think of this that also that here you have got the Himalayan range right now. So the terrain is very rocky. Over here, the land surface is rocky. So thereby, due to that also, it is difficult. Even if there is some coal reserves found, the extraction of those coal reserves would be very difficult because of mountains. Because these are the mountainous regions, extraction of coal is will be very. It will be really difficult because even if it is there, it would be really deep. So cost it will not be cost effective. Okay. So hope that is clear to everyone what we have been trying to discuss. Today we would be beginning. Okay, by the way, we did discuss this topic previously or not? I
No,
think
sir.
no, no. Okay, these are the writings from the previous class. I forgot to erase. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, petroleum is made up of how many words? It is made up of two words. Okay, now, namely
Yes, sir.
petrol and oleum. Okay, now know that the word petrol here refers to rock. What does it mean? It refers to rock. And the word oleum means oil. Oleum means oil. So petrol here, petroleum is made up of two words, namely petra and oleum. Petra refers to rocks and oleum refers to oil. So it means that it is found trapped between the layers of two rocks. This petroleum which we are going to learn about, it will be found trapped between the two rocks. Got this now? So petroleum also, that is also known as crude oil. Let us learn about its occurrence and what are its properties. Petroleum, and its another name is crude oil. Note down that petroleum and petrol are different things. Many times students confuse petrol with petroleum. Petrol and petroleum are two different things. Okay. All right, now Vaiga, Aisha, and Ibrahim. So petroleum is also known as crude oil, and the word petroleum comes from the Latin word. In Latin, petra means rock. It is derived from two Latin words, namely petra and oleum. In Latin, petra means rock. In Latin, what does it mean? It means rock. And oleum means oil. Right now, so petroleum means rock oil. Together, can we say that it means rock oil? Yes. Yes, Ibrahim.
Yes.
Yes,
Petra
sir.
refers to rock. Oleum refers to, it means oil. So thereby we can call that it's a rock oil. Now the thing is that when we look at where the petrol is found, where the petroleum reserves are found. So if you were to look at this diagram over here, see there are two layers of rocks. There's this rock and this layer of rock. And here you can identify the layer of the oil, of the petroleum. This one over here. This is the layer of petroleum. And isn't it found trapped between two layers of rock? Yes, Aisha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So logically also that is correct now. The name have been derived in such a manner. It was named in such a manner. Getting it? So it's a oil that is found trapped between two layers of rocks. One that is impervious, another one that is called as reservoir rock. We are going to discuss what kind of rock they are later on, but as of now, just know that it is found trapped between the two layers of rocks. Furthermore, if there is oil, presence of some oil in that area, oil can be present, oil cannot be present. Here in this diagram, oil is water, I mean to say water. So in water can be found and water cannot be found. So oil being lighter in density, it will float above the water, obviously. Okay. And in this image, you can notice down gases also, right? So while the decomposition of dead remains, while the decomposition of dead aquatic organisms, particularly the fishes, would have taken place, so thereby gases would also have formed. So gas being lighter in density, it will accumulate above the petroleum. Okay. When we talk about natural gas, they will be learning about that in detail. So far, we have learned about petroleum, that is also crude oil. It is basically derived from two Latin words, namely petra and oleum. Petra refers to rock and oleum refers to oil. And logically also, we learned that it is found between, it is found trapped between two layers of rocks. Okay. Also, it is also a fossil fuel. Fuel, because it is a combustible substance used for combustion and other purposes. But it is considered as a fossil fuel because it is formed from the decomposition of aquatic organisms from a living organism particularly. So hope that is clear. Now, wherever petroleum reserves are found, some gases will also be found at that place. Some natural gas will also found. Okay. So we know, like for example, we see that, say for example, you walk on a street, um, if you find a dead rat lying in the street, or dead cat or some dead animal lying in the street, so a smell would be coming out from the decomposing body of that organism, isn't it? The smell would be coming out. So that smell is actually the gases that is coming out from the body of that dead animal when its body is decomposing. Getting it, guys? So try to think of it in this manner. Over the course of millions of years, so many aquatic organisms would have died. Let us try to understand. For example, what happened here? There would be so many marine animals, like so many fishes would have died, octopuses, certain kind of nematodes, seahorses would be there, jellyfishes would be there, so many, right? Basically all the marine organisms except for the plants. We are only talking about the marine organisms here, marine animals here particularly. So when they would have died, and this would have would have happened for like millions of years right now, so there would be very thick deposition of the remains of fishes. Getting it, guys? There would be a very
Yeah.
thick deposition of remains of fishes. So many fishes would have died. Okay. So just like I gave you the example of a rat, when a rat dies, a smell would be coming from the body of the rat. So that smell is basically the gas. Gas is coming out from the body of the decomposing body of that rat. So while the fishes would be decomposing, so they will also release some gases now. Some gases would come out from their body also, isn't it? Okay. Now, after few years, what would have happened? This body of fishes would have decomposed further, and say it would have converted to petroleum, a dark, thick liquid, a black, thick liquid, having a very unpleasant smell. So it would have converted into this now, and all the gases, where will it go? It will accumulate above the oil, isn't it? The
Yes, sir.
gas that was coming out from their body while it was decomposing, so it would accumulate above its body now, above the petroleum now. So far, is that clear to everyone? So do one thing, Ibrahim, you read the first paragraph, then Vaiga, and then Aisha. Read the first paragraph.
Okay, sir.
Start reading it. Read it aloud.
Tiny marine plants and animals died and were buried on the ocean floor. Over time, the marine plants and animals were covered by layers of silt and sand.
Good. Next, Vaiga.
For millions of years, the remains were buried deeper and deeper. The enormous heat and pressure turned the remains into oil and natural gas.
Good. Yes, Aisha.
Today we drill down through layers of sand, silt, and rock to reach the rock formations that contain oil and natural gas deposits.
Good. So what we can see in this image here, like over 300 to 400 million years ago, what happened that there would be so many aquatic animals, marine animals that would have died millions of years ago, and they settled down in the bottom of the sea. When they would die, they would settle down in the bottom of the sea. And here we are seeing some plants would also have that would also settle, right? So petroleum will be formed gradually. So gradually here also there would be deposition of sand and silt over the remains of dead plants and animals, right? So the marine animals and plants that died millions of years ago, they settle down in the bottom of the sea. Now here, is it a aerobic condition or is it an anaerobic condition? I mean to say that, will there be availability of oxygen? In the second diagram, look at the second diagram. The remains of plant and animals, will there be any presence of oxygen in it at that time? Is there any supply of oxygen to them? Think about it.
No.
No, right now. The only place where oxygen will be found, it will be dissolved in this water. Right now, Aisha. So here, microorganisms would be acting upon it. Like in class 7th standard, all of you would have studied about respiration. What are the two types of respiration you guys have studied about? Yes, Viger,
Yes, sir.
what are the two types of respiration we studied about in the previous class? Anyone else?
Can I say?
Aisha, what about you?
Sir, aerobic and anaerobic.
Aerobic and anaerobic. Very good.
Very
Fine.
good.
Oh,
Right.
okay, sir.
Okay, which one takes place in the presence of oxygen?
Aerobic.
Aerobic. Very good. Okay, na? So we humans, plants, and most of the complex multicellular organisms does uh, aerobic respiration. We take in oxygen. With the help of oxygen, food is broken down inside our cells and we get energy from it. That is respiration. More specifically, that is aerobic respiration when we take in oxygen to break down the food. But in some organisms, like in some anaerobic organisms, like for example, there's a bacteria like Clostridium is a bacteria, or for example, yeast cells. In the chapter microorganism, you guys have studied about a fungi called as yeast. Hmm? That also does respiration, but it is capable of doing respiration in the absence of oxygen. It is capable of breaking down the food in the absence of oxygen. So that does anaerobic respiration. Like that, there are several other microorganisms that can break down their food in the absence of oxygen. So you guys tell me, the plant and animal remains, will it not be food for so many microorganisms? Hmm?
Yes, it will.
It will be no, okay. But here there is no availability of oxygen. So what kind of organisms would do respiration? What kind of organism would feed on the plant and animal remains? Will they be aerobic organisms or anaerobic organisms?
Anaerobic.
Logically, they would be anaerobic, isn't it, Aisha, Ibrahim? Huh? So here also microorganisms would start to decompose this organic matter. Right now, they would also help to decompose this. They would be doing anaerobic respiration and they would break down it further, decompose it further. Right now, also the heat and pressure factor will also help it to slowly convert into petroleum. So because they are submerged into deeper layers of the earth, there's a thick deposition of sand and silt, and there was a water body also. Here in the third image, you have seen that the water body has dried and the layers of sand, silt, and other rocks have become more thicker. Right now, getting it now? Like over the course of millions of years in the history of Earth, oceans have formed, oceans have dried up. This has been taking place right now. Erosion or deposition, it's a continuous phenomena that is happening. Mm. Like for example, the mountains, for example, rocks of the mountains are continuously fall down. Landslides would be taking place. So the rocks and all other debris that are falling from the mountain, at some other place it is deposited. At some other place it would be deposited now. So erosion and deposition, it's a continuous phenomena that takes place in the nature. Similarly, the ocean would be drying up. Right now, it would dry up. Also, tectonic plate movement is also taking place. Okay, now
Yes,
let's
sir.
not go there. Let's stick to this topic. Let's stick to this topic. So water would have also dried up, and due to some phenomena, uh, uh like due to erosion, like for example, there would be flood. For example, so flood would be depositing lots of sand and silt in that area. For example, whenever there's a flood in the river, what happens? Whenever there is a flood in the river, what happens in that case? Notice that whenever flood will be over, like for example, a river is flooded. Okay, So after flood is gone, then you will observe that river would have deposited so many alluvial soil or silt in its bank in the nearby area. Try to understand what I'm saying. That like whenever a river is flooded, which is flowing higher than the level at which it normally flows. So in that case, there would be lots of sand, silt, soil dissolved in that water. Getting it now? So there's a lot of lots of sand, silt, and other impurities in that water. But whenever flood is over, so what do we observe that it would have deposited sand or silt, rock, other particles in its nearby areas. So it does deposition now. It would have brought all those extra sand, silt from some other areas, and now it deposited it to its nearby areas. Getting what I'm trying to say? So here also, due to some natural phenomena, natural activities, the sand, silt, and deposition of other things would have taken place, and it is happening in the course of millions of years, not just in 1 or 200 years right now. So further, the heat and pressure would have increased, and thereby it converted into oil and natural gas deposits. So hope this whole thing was clear. Let me just give you a quick recap of the concept. So petroleum is formed by the burial of aquatic plants and animals below the seabed. Below the seabed. Seabed, you guys understand, right? Then marine
Yes, sir.
animals and plants that died millions of years ago, they settle down in the bottom of the sea, and further under the in the absence of oxygen, microorganisms decomposed the organic matter. Also due to high pressure, as the pressure would be building up as more layers of dirt, sand, and silt deposits over it. So as the pressure increases, and also as the temperature increases, because deeper inside the earth the temperature would increase. As you go deep inside the earth, the temperature is going to increase. So due to high pressure and heat, what happened, the dead remains of those plants and animals slowly converted into petroleum and natural gas. Okay, now. So hope this whole process was clear to both, or to all three of you. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes,
If
sir.
there's any slightest doubt in it, please let me know. Aisha, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. By the way, many times we get to know of this unit called as a barrel. So 1 barrel of oil basically means we're talking about 159 liters of oil. Getting it? Huh? Got this
Yes,
now.
sir.
Furthermore, there's another important fact that there are enough oil reserves in the world that can meet our energy requirements for another 53 years. Okay, this is the current estimate. But if our energy consumption were to increase in the nearby future, so thereby it might last, it might not last this long. Okay, now it might end up in the near 40 years or 45 years like that. Got this? Furthermore, there's an important fact: the world's first oil well, where was it dug? In the world for the first time. So, in the year 1859, the world's first oil well was drilled in the Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. Okay, no? That is in United States of America. Okay. Then 8 years later, in the year 1867, oil was struck at a place called as Makum in Assam. At a place called as Makum in Assam that you can see here. And this is the news headline of that as well, of that time. This is the news headline of the year, 1867, probably around that, I believe. Getting it, guys? And it has been now preserved like this. It is not no longer functional. It is just put as a display. So world's first oil well that was drilled in the Pennsylvania. This is how it looked like. Got this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Furthermore, In India, oil is found at different places, like it is found in Gujarat, it is found in the Mumbai High. You all would have seen the image of Mumbai High, right? You guys know about the Mumbai High? Yes, Ibrahim?
No, sir.
No. Oil, you just this is what I'm talking about. See, I think Vaiga, have you seen Mumbai High?
No, sir.
No. See, this is what I'm talking about. The first image that you see over here. That is the image of Mumbai High. Okay, no? Okay. So where in India oil is found? Yes. Where in India oil is found? Read the paragraph.
Assam, Gujarat, Mumbai High.
Hmm. Then in
Godavari.
river basins of Godavari and Krishna. There also it is found. Got this now? Mumbai High, you guys understand what is Mumbai High? This is the
Yes, sir.
oil well in the middle of the ocean. Right now? Okay. Do you guys think about it? Like think about it logically. Where is Mumbai High located? In which sea? It will be in the Bay of Bengal or in the Arabian Sea? Yes.
Agency.
In the Arabian Sea, right now?
Arabian Sea.
Right. Okay. So Mumbai High, earlier it was called as Bombay High also, but now it is called as Mumbai High. So it is basically known for its petroleum deposits, right? It is known for its petroleum deposit and it is controlled by the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. You guys have heard of ONGC? How many of you have heard of ONGC? None of you. See, ONGC is a Oil and Natural Gas Corporation in India that manages the drilling of oil and deals everything related to oil. Basically, the extraction of oil and its management, its transportation, all of it is managed by the ONGC. It also manages the it also does the extraction of natural gas and its management, its transportation, its storing, all that. So that is the function of ONGC. What is the full form of ONGC, guys? That is Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. Okay. So it's a global company, by the
Sir,
way.
can you repeat?
Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. Let me write that down. Oil and Natural Gas Corporation. It's a global energy company right now. So it would be exploring the different areas. If in an area some petroleum reserves are found, so it will be the task of this company that it will do the exploration. It will extract the crude oil and natural gas. Okay. Also, the primary product of the ONGC, the primary products like the petroleum and the natural gas that it extracts from the ground, it is primarily produced for the Indian market. Getting it now? So, like for example, 70% of the India's petroleum is being produced by this company. It has dug wells at different places, and 70% of the petroleum that is being used in India is being produced, being supplied by this ONGC company. Are you guys getting it? What I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, no?
sir.
Furthermore, it has great contribution in supplying of natural gas also. Almost 85% of the natural gas requirement of India is being met by this ONGC. Getting it now? So thereby it is
Yes,
very
sir.
important. You can understand, like if a company is supplying 70% of the petroleum requirement, uh, or 85% of the natural gas requirement, so thereby it is a big company. Also, it is not a private company, keep that in mind. It's established by the government of India, and thereby it is a very big player in the Indian energy sector. Okay, now. So hope whatever we have discussed so far, you guys have understood it.
Yes.
Any confusion so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So in India, for the first time, in which state of India oil was struck, oil was discovered for the first time?
At Makum.
At Makum. Where is this? In which state?
Assam.
Assam. Good. Furthermore, we are going to learn about the refining of petroleum right now. Like petroleum or crude oil in its raw state, in its natural state, it is not of much use. You can't directly use it. So thereby it has to be refined. While like you would have we use on a day-to-day daily basis, we use different products like LPG is used, or gasoline, that is petrol. We use that. We use the wax in the candles, or diesel is used to run heavy motor vehicles. Like diesel would be used in trucks and tractors. Mm. Diesel is used to run heavy motor vehicles. It is not used to run the smaller vehicles. Got this now? Have you ever seen like a do we fill the um, fuel tank of the smaller vehicles like cars or bikes with petrol, with diesel, I mean to say?
Yes. No,
No,
sir.
usually no. Okay, na? So diesel, which is also one of the products that is used in the heavy vehicles, heavy motor vehicles, like in the tractors or in the bigger vehicles. You guys can understand what I'm trying to say. Or like kerosene is used right now. Kerosene is there. So all these products that you are seeing over here, or for example, bitumen, which is used in the metalling of the road, which is used in the construction of road, or like Vaseline. You guys would have heard of this Vaseline, used as a moisturizer also. So where are all these products obtained from? All of them are obtained from the refining of petroleum. Got this? All of them are obtained from the refining of petroleum. Okay, now Aisha, read the given paragraph.
The process of separating the various components of petroleum from one another is known as the refining of petroleum. This is done by a process called fractional distillation, which is based on the fact that the different components of petroleum have distinctly different boiling points.
Good. Now here, distillation has a distillation, the concept of distillation, as you guys have learned previously. So this is same as distillation, but it is being called as fractional distillation. It is same as distillation, but more specifically, it is being called as fractional distillation. Okay, can you guys tell me the principle of distillation? How is distillation being performed? What are the two steps in which distillation is done, and why do we do this? Any one of you? Yes, Miss Ibrahim.
Distillation is the process of separating two substances.
Two or more than two
Yeah, two or more substances.
okay, two or more than two miscible liquids, which are miscible into each other, which are soluble in each other. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. What are the two steps in which distillation is done? First, you have to boil the mixture, boil the liquid now, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you have to condense it. Getting it, guys? Then you have to condense it. Okay. So hope that is clear. Now let us learn about the process of fractional distillation of petroleum. So let us understand what basically is happening. So principal thing here is that the different components of petroleum have got different boiling points. Like you would be obtaining diesel from it. Let me just clear this marking. So you'd be obtaining kerosene from it. You'd be obtaining petrol, diesel. You'd be obtaining lots of different things from it. Getting it, guys, what I'm trying to say. And all
Yes,
these
sir.
components of the petroleum have got different boiling points. They have got different boiling points. So let us understand the whole procedure, what is happening here. So first of all, crude oil would be heated in a furnace. It would be heated in a furnace, okay? Now, as soon as you put the crude oil into this pipe now, if the temperature inside this pipe is 20 degrees Celsius, so components like butane and propane, it will start to convert into the gaseous state and it will come out of this hole. Let me tell you what happens. Initially, you will not raise the temperature to 400 degrees Celsius. Okay, Aisha. Initially, what we are doing here, we would maintain the temperature to 20 degrees Celsius only. Initially, the temperature here would be maintained at 20 degrees Celsius. So at 20 degrees Celsius, the components like butane and propane. So first of all, they would convert into the gaseous state, right? It will convert into the gaseous state, and via these holes, it will rise up, it will rise up, and it will be out from this. It will be out from this, getting it, and it will be out from this in the gaseous state. Is that much clear so far to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. By the way, butane and propane, it is the same thing. These components are found in the liquefied petroleum gas. Keep that in mind also. Okay, now with the help of this animation, that will help you. So here you have heated the crude oil, and as you have heated it, so first of all, what happened? Components like butane and propane, it would start to heat up and it will convert in the gaseous state and it will come out from the topmost pipe. It will come out in the state of gas, and the temperature you have heated it up to was 20 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now then slowly you will increase the temperature of the furnace to to exactly 150 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then the petrol found in the crude oil, then it will start to evaporate. So as you can see in this animation, the particles of petrol have now converted into the vapor state and it will now come here. Okay. Now note down one more thing. Here we have placed some plates here. Some metal plates have been placed here. Getting it, guys? So as the temperature here has been increased to 150 degrees Celsius, so vapors will rise up, and as it will be rising up, it will cool down. As the vapors rise up, it cools down now. Yes, in the case of when water vapor rises up, as it goes higher up in the sky, it cools down, it condenses, and then forms cloud, and then converts to water, converts to rain. Got this? What I'm saying? You guys are not responding. Are you guys actually getting it? What I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
as
sir.
the vapors of petrol will rise, so higher up in the higher chamber of this refinery, it will start to condense and it will condense on these plates. So on these plates, it will condense and will it convert into the liquid state. So petrol will come out in the liquid state from here,
Okay, sir.
in the liquid state. Is that much clear so far to everyone? Aisha, Ibrahim,
Yes,
Waida?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Same thing will be followed up
Yes, sir.
for another products also, like kerosene, that has a temperature like, as the temperature of the furnace would be increased to 200 degrees Celsius, then kerosene will convert into the gaseous state, into the vapors. And here the kerosene would, as it rises up here, the vapor will cool down and then it will condense and will condense and will be taken out from this hole in the oil refinery chamber. Hope you guys are getting it right now. Same thing would be for diesel and for fuel oil also. Now once the temperature has been raised maximum to 400 degrees Celsius, then components like lubricating oil, paraffin wax or asphalt, that would be left here, it will come out via the bottommost chamber, bottom hole, bottom pipe basically, as you can relate it from this diagram as well. This is the image of an actual oil refinery, and you can see the holes in it, pipes connected to different chambers, isn't it, guys? Look at the different chambers, this chamber, this one
Yes.
over here, and pipes have been connected to different chambers. Getting it now? And
Yes,
inside of
yes,
it
sir.
will kind of look like this. It will somewhat look like this. So hope that mechanism of the oil of the fractional distillation of petroleum is clear to everyone. Okay now. And the reason why it is called as fractional distillation, the reason is simple enough that we are obtaining different fractions of petroleum right now. Petroleum has got different fractions, like fractions. Some fraction of it is containing petrol, some fraction of it is containing kerosene, some fraction of it is containing butane and propane, and fuel oil or paraffin wax, asphalt, bitumen, etc. So these are the different fractions of a petroleum, and via the process of distillation they are being separated out. That's why the name fractional distillation. Okay, Aisha, tell us what is the main principle on which this refining of petroleum is being done?
Uh, crude, crude petroleum is heated so that the compounds in it convert to gases.
Okay, what is the main basis here? Main principle of refining of the petroleum. Is anyone else? The answer lies in this paragraph. Read this paragraph. Read from here. This is done by a process called fractional distillation. Read after this. The main principle is mentioned over here.
This is done by a process called fractional distillation, which is based on the fact that the different components of petroleum have distinctly different boiling points.
Got the answer?
So,
Yes.
sorry, so to like separate components.
It is because different components of the petroleum have got different boiling points. Okay, now different boiling points.
Okay, sir.
That is the main basis on which the whole procedure is based. Okay, now this oil refinery in which it is being carried out, this is called as oil refinery. What if, think about this, like what if all of them were to have the same boiling point? Will it ever be possible to separate them? Think about it logically. Since they have different boiling
So
points,
what?
so if all these components of the petroleum were to have the same boiling point, will it ever be possible to separate them in this method?
No, sir.
No, technically no, right now. So the reason that all of them have got different boiling point, they are vapor, they will convert into their vapor form at different temperature. That is the whole basis of this procedure. I believe that it is clear. Then these are the uses of the constituents of petroleum, right? Like the petroleum gas that you obtain from the topmost pipe, that we obtain from this pipe. So this gas is basically LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. The uses are as follows: used for home and industry. Weiger, uses of right, read the uses of the constituents of petroleum. Read the first two, then Ibrahim, you read these three, then Aisha, you read the last two. Yes, start.
Okay, sir. Petroleum gas in liquid form, LPG, fuel, firm, home and industry.
Hmm.
Petrol, motor fuel, aviation. What's it? Aviation fuel,
Aviation
solvent for
fuel.
dry cleaning. Aviation
Aviation
fuel,
fuel.
aviation fuel, solvent for dry cleaning.
What do we mean by aviation fuel? So aviation fuel is basically a petrol-based fuel. Basically, it's a fuel in which some petroleum will be mixed. Right now, not purely petroleum, not purely petrol, but in the aviation fuel, Like it would be fuel that would be used to power the aircrafts, that would be used in the aeroplanes particularly right now. So the fuel that will be used to power the aircraft, in that fuel some petrol will be mixed, some petrol will be mixed, getting it? Some petroleum based fuel will be mixed. Like in some cases some kerosene can be mixed, some petrol can be mixed, in some cases some amount of diesel can be mixed, getting it now? So that is what a aviation based fuel is, that. So in aviation fuel also petrol is added sometimes. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now you'd have heard that petrol is helpful in dry cleaning also. Like if there's a stain on the cloth, so thereby instead of using water to clean that stain, petroleum can be used, petrol can be used. Got this, guys? So petroleum can be used. Okay, next, Ibrahim. Yes, Ibrahim.
Kerosene, fuel for stove. Yes, sir. Kerosene, fuel for stoves, lamps, and for jet
Hmm.
aircrafts. Diesel, fuel for heavy motor vehicles, electric generators.
Hmm.
Lubricating oil, lubrication.
Yes, Aisha.
Paraffin wax, ointments, candles, vaseline, etc. Bitumen, paints, road surfacing.
Okay, na? So hope that is clear to everyone, and hope you guys have understood the uses of the constituents of petroleum.
Yes,
For
sir.
these following purposes, it will be used. So make sure you memorize whatever